Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining the press call on Gina Haspel nomination with Senator Tom Cotton. Your host for today, Kyle Plotkin, will begin.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Kyle from the Holly campaign. We are grateful to have Senator Tom Cotton join us today. He's going to be talking about Senator McCaskill's opposition to Gina Haspel as CIA director. I will turn it over to the senator for his opening remarks, then we'll take some questions. Senator Cotton.
Thank you, Kyle, and thank you all for joining us on a Saturday. On Thursday, the Senate rightly confirmed Gina Haspel as the director of the CIA. Gina is a career professional and is no doubt the best choice for this position. I've worked with her personally as a member of the Intelligence Committee during her time overseas and then as deputy director of the CIA, and I can attest to her professionalism, her work ethic, and most important, her character. I know that she will be absolutely critical in the fight to keep our families safe and secure. Unfortunately, on Thursday, Senator McCaskill proved once again that she is so liberal and so reflexively opposed to the president that she cannot represent Missourians in the Senate. She put partisan politics over national security and voted no on Gina Haspel. Even more amazing, she couldn't even own up to her own vote. Senator McCaskill hid out for days and declined to take a position until the very final moment. And then after voting against Gina, she wouldn't even post a statement on her website defending her vote. But Senator McCaskill ultimately can't hide from the people of Missouri. Missourians will remember the vote in November, and they will remember that Senator McCaskill apparently cares more about Chuck Schumer, obstruction, and politics than about keeping this country safe. And in particular, I think Missourians will be appalled that Senator McCaskill claimed Gina Haspel lacked a moral compass or doesn't reflect our values because she might at one point in her life have been too tough on terrorists. Let me tell you something about reflecting our country's values and having a moral compass. Just moments after the first plane flew into the World Trade Center on 9/11, Gina Haspel walked into the Counterterrorism Center and said that she wanted to volunteer to make sure it never happened again. She knew it would be a tough, controversial job. She could have hid out on the Swiss desk and avoided the controversy, but she put herself and her reputation, and in some cases over the last 15 years, her life on the line to protect this country. That shows a moral compass, and those reflect American values. And I am personally affronted that Senator McCaskill would suggest anything to the contrary. I know Missouri voters will be as well.
Operator, I think we're going to be now opening up for questions. If you want to direct the press to what they need to press.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And I'm waiting for callers to join the queue at the present time. My first question is going to come from Brent Shear from the Washington Free Beacon. Please go ahead.
Hi, Senator. My question is on what exactly you think Claire McCaskill's calculation going into the vote was. She's come out in support of some previous nominees, but not others. Clearly, she waited to the last minute on this one. Clearly, there was a thought process, and she maybe wasn't sure which way she was going to go. Wanted to hear your thoughts on that and why you think it took her so long to make a decision.
Brent, I can't imagine why Senator McCaskill opposed Gina's nomination. Remember, this is not just a nomination supported by Republicans and Democrats in the Senate. It was supported by every major Obama administration intelligence official, John Brennan and Jim Clapper, men who have showed themselves to be quite opposed to the president's agenda and to the president personally, yet they still supported Gina Haspel because she is a 33-year career professional and the first female director of the CIA. So I'm mystified by Senator McCaskill's opposition to Gina Haspel, and I know that Missouri voters will be as well.
And what's the email address? Our next question is going to come from Steve Peebles from the Associated Press. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi there, Senator. Thanks so much for doing this call. A little off topic, I wanted to ask you about another one of your colleagues. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker's in town this weekend campaigning with Claire McCaskill. It's part of her broader push, I guess, to repair some tensions with the black community here in the state. I'd love to get your thoughts on Senator Booker's appearance here and just whether you might have any message to black voters who are frustrated with Claire McCaskill.
Well, Steve, I like Cory Booker, but Senator Booker is a very liberal East Coast senator. It's not surprising to me that a liberal senator would want to come to Missouri to campaign with his fellow liberal, Claire McCaskill. What I think is they're going to learn is that Missourians don't want to return a liberal like Claire McCaskill to the United States Senate. So whatever they do on the campaign trail this weekend, Claire can't run from her liberal voting record, in which she voted, like Senator Booker, against the largest tax cut in 30 years, against Neil Gorsuch, one of our best Supreme Court justices in recent times, against the border wall, in favor of President Obama's nuclear deal, and in favor of more onerous and widespread regulations. That'll ultimately be the message that Missourians hear about another liberal, Cory Booker, coming to campaign with liberal Claire McCaskill in Missouri.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And our next question is going to come from Ben Casimir from The Hill. Please go ahead.
Hey, Kyle. Senator Kyle, thanks so much for taking some time out of your weekend. So obviously, Republicans have always, targeted the votes of vulnerable incumbents sort of to make this argument that they're not backing the president's agenda. And that's obviously an easy argument to make with relatively non-controversial candidates, for example, blocking Tom Price just because you don't want to roll back Obamacare. But, in this case, McCaskill and some of the opponents to Gina Haspel, base their votes on concerns about torture, which isn't as much of a red-blue issue at its core. I guess, why shouldn't the senator be allowed to vote her conscience when she sees this vote as, in part, a referendum on a controversial issue like torture? And I guess, is it harder for the Republicans or for you or for the Hawley campaign to paint this as a vote against the president when there is a controversy over a more clearly defined issue like torture?
Ben, first and most important, the United States does not torture, nor has the United States ever tortured. That is the conclusion of Democrat and Republican professionals alike, people like John Brennan and Jim Clapper, or Democrats on the Intelligence Committee who carefully reviewed all the classified information in Gina Haspel's record, like Mark Warner and Joe Manchin, who did vote for her. Moreover, Senator McCaskill revealed herself to be a hypocrite on the question. She voted against Gina Haspel because Gina was a mid-level career employee that was tangentially involved in the Bush administration's detention and interrogation programs. 5 years ago, she voted for Democrat John Brennan, who was the number 4 ranking official during those programs. Missourians can see through that kind of hypocrisy and recognize that she is simply putting partisanship above the good name and record of a honorable woman who served this country for 33 years. That's not the kind of liberal that they want representing them in the United States Senate.
Our next question is going to come from Joe Manus from the St. Louis Public Radio. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. My question is, with the partisan split climate right now, and, of course, both parties are trying to energize their bases, how does McCaskill's vote against Gina Haspel, would it have been more politically expedient for her to have voted for her? I guess that's my question, than not voted for her. And going forward, should there be litmus tests for either party as far as who they support or don't support among the president's nominees?
Joe, thanks for the question. Look, there are liberals in all 50 states. You have them in Missouri. We have them in Arkansas. But they're not a majority. And ultimately, the people of Missouri want someone in the Senate who will put national security first and set aside partisanship when it comes to the nomination of a distinguished career professional, a woman who has served for 33 years and who's is going to be the first female director of the CIA. I understand some votes that Democrats cast on a party line basis, but to vote against a career professional like Gina Haspel really is an extreme of partisanship that most Missourians are going to reject at the ballot box this fall. That's why they're going to vote for Josh Hawley, because they know he will be an independent voice for Missouri who will support the president when he's right and try to change his mind when he's wrong.
And our last question for today is going to come from Brian Lowry from the Kansas City Star. Please go ahead.
Hi, Senator. I just wanted to ask for some background information on how you got involved with the Hawley campaign, why you're supporting the Attorney General's candidacy over the other Republican candidates in the field, and whether we can expect you to come through Missouri to campaign for him.
Thanks, Brian. Well, I spent a lot of time in Missouri as one of your neighbors. I think I know a lot about what keeps Missourians up at night or what drives them throughout the day, and have a lot of common with Arkansas. So it's been disappointing to see Senator McCaskill's liberal voting record for the last 4 years, not only on Gina Haspel's nomination, but on Neil Gorsuch's nomination, on the nomination of good law and order judges, voting against the biggest tax cut in 30 years, voting against the border wall. I frankly think Missourians deserve a senator who will be an independent voice for them, not a party line vote for the Washington Democratic Party. I got to know Josh early in the campaign. He's an incredibly impressive candidate. I think he's done a great job as your Attorney General. We have a lot in common. He'll replace me as the youngest senator, I'm happy to say, once Missourians elect him this November. So we've talked about life in the Senate and balancing the demands of raising a family and representing the people of our state. And I think he's a good man who's going to be an outstanding senator.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. We really appreciate it. And thank you, Senator Cotton.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. I'll disconnect and have a great day.